Well, how can it get any better? How can it get any better? Would you acknowledge yourself for showing up tonight? For even coming into the room? Especially those who are here for the first time. You're right, you have landed in the twilight zone. That is the truth. Because you're going to, for 1 solid hour, you're going to hear somebody say something like, you're powerful, you're innocent, you deserve to be happy, you deserve to be loved, you're not a victim, that you're free, that we're here to love each other, join, connect, let go of guilt, let go of fear, that we can have an unlimited future that's beyond anything that we could possibly imagine, enjoy, and love, and how we can let go of the blocks to having that. So I'm sorry, but for at least an hour, you're just going to hear cool things about yourself. Is that okay? Yeah. Is that okay? It's okay. Yeah. So just remember, don't forget that you don't have to believe it. You don't have to accept it. You don't have to welcome it. Some of it you're going to find hard to believe. Some of the things I say you're going to feel like it's startling. Some of it's going to be hard to believe. Some of it's going to be hard to believe. Did I say? Some of it is going to be hard to believe. Some of it's going to sound strange, different, might not be what you used to thinking or hearing. So when that actually happens, you know, I let you know that ahead of time, because new means different. Yes. So when I say I want to hear something new, I'm talking about hearing something different. Yes. And since we don't have to believe it, we could just open our minds up just hearing some stuff, right? On page 170, we're doing a course of love. And the course of love is basically about removing the blocks to the awareness of love inside of you, freedom inside of you, connection inside of you. This is not a class that's really about so much the intellect as it's about opening the heart and joining your heart with your mind. So here's some basic premises, especially if you're here for the first time. The basic premise of New Thought is that thought is created, and that what you are experiencing is a reflection of what you think, that your life is coming from your mind. How you're perceiving your experience is coming from your mind. Everything that you see is coming from your own interpretations, your own perceptions. Basically, there are just two ways of seeing things. You're either seeing things in terms of we're one, or we're seeing things in terms of being different. We're seeing things in terms of love, or we're seeing things in terms of fear. We're either seeing things in terms of we're one with each other, or we're seeing things in terms of being separate from each other. We appear to be separate from each other. It looks like there's a lot of cool, juicy people sitting in here. And they all look like they're different from me. But that's the lie. That's the trick. That's how we're fooled. The truth is, according to the course of love anyway, is that we're these unlimited spiritual beings who decided to have the experience of what it would be like to be separate and to think that we're separate. So what you're experiencing right now is the reality that you chose to have based on all the experiences you would like to have as a separate being. We're so unlimited we can have it any way we want. Now, in order to take it serious, we forgot. We forgot our oneness. We forgot that we created it. We forgot that we're only love. We've forgotten. So what we're trying to do in here is come back to the realization of our oneness and our innocence while we're here, so that we can give ourselves the joy and the love and the fun that we were intended to have, and the prosperity and the abundance and the connection that we were intended to have from the very beginning. So what I do is read a couple of paragraphs and then see what the message is that it's trying to convey. But even more than that, I want to ask you to look for your own personal message. If there's just one sentence that you hear tonight that says to you, oh, that's why I happened to come here tonight. It wasn't because I was threatened. It was because I needed to hear that one statement. I needed to hear that one statement that was just shared. So I'm going to start with, on page 170, the very first paragraph in the book, where it says, you who have grown weary of this experience, rejoice. For you can choose a new experience. You can choose a new experience. You can choose a new experience. Think about the experience you're having right now. And then remember, you can choose a new one. You can choose a new experience. Did I say you could choose a new experience? Okay, you can choose a new experience. Your free will has not been taken from you. Your free will has not been taken from you, nor has the power of creation abandoned you. Within creation's own laws does the solution rest. So the solution rests in the laws of creation. And your free will hasn't been taken from you. And that means everything that you are experiencing is a result of the choice that you're making about how you want to see things right now. So what is the solution? Then it goes on to say the solution lies in transformation. The solution lies in what? Transformation. And that's why you are still needed here. For what? Transformation. Beneath the world of illusion that you have made to glorify your separated self, the world that was created for your learning, and that so exists in truth. So there is a world, and we're in it, and it was created for learning. It was created for learning, and so that world really exists in truth. So when it talks about the world being an illusion, it's basically talking about, we think we're looking at the world, but we're never looking at anything but our thoughts. We think we're looking at the world, but we're not looking at the world. We're looking at our thoughts. We think we're looking at our partners, mates, and friends, but we're not. We're just looking at our thoughts. When we look out, we're just seeing what we think because it's what we think that's interpreting what we see. So when we look out, we're just seeing our own thoughts because it's our thoughts that's interpreting what we see. Like the way you feel right now in this room, that's strictly coming from your interpretation of this moment. If you determine that it's strange, then you'll feel strange right now. If you feel like it's cool, you'll feel cool right now. You know, whatever you're feeling right now, it's really not coming from anybody in the room. It's strictly coming from the way that you're interpreting this moment. And that's what makes it an illusion. Because the way I believe and the way I see things, that may not necessarily be the way that it really is. And so what the Course of Love teaches is that the way you can tell whether or not you're seeing correctly or whether you're just seeing a world you've made up is determined by how much joy and how much love you feel. So if I'm walking around all day and I'm depressed most of the time, then I haven't really seen the real world. What I'm looking at is my own depression and my own depressed thoughts, and those thoughts are giving me that feeling. But there's a world beyond my thoughts. One of the easiest ways to tell this would be, have you ever felt really, really good and you were with someone that felt really, really depressed, but you were both sitting in the same room? Okay. So check that out. Now you're both in the exact same physical situation. That person is totally depressed. You're feeling really, really good. What's the difference? You're in the same place. Why are you feeling okay in the same place, but they're feeling depressed in the same place? Who can tell me? Right. The way I'm thinking in that moment is one way. The way they're thinking in that moment is another way. So what I'm saying to you is that if you're unhappy, you're just like that person that is sitting there that's unhappy with the other person that feels happy. In other words, what you're going through right now, you're as much personally in your own little personal perception of the world as if you had a friend sitting next to you that was depressed and you were feeling good right now. And in this case, you were the depressed friend. So the way that you're feeling is coming from the way that you're seeing things. I'm going to keep on saying that because if you walked away with nothing but that thought tonight, then I would have learned what I needed to learn tonight and you would too. Yeah. So transformation comes from the recognition that this world was created for your learning. This world was created for you to learn. This world was created for you to learn what? How to be happy, how to let go of the blocks to your joy, how to let go of everything that keeps you from knowing the peace that you are. So it says right here, it is not the only world by any means, but it is still heaven because heaven must be where you are. A wholehearted choice to abandon all ideas of glorifying the separated self and to let the world be what it is will begin the transformation. So if I want to have a transformation, then the Course of Love is telling us that you have to have a wholehearted desire to abandon all ideas that glorify your separate self and to let the world be what it is. So number one is, I want to go beyond this idea of me being separate from you and glorifying the part of me that thinks is separate and different from you. And I want to start to connect with the part of me that's completely joined with every one of you. I want to feel love and peace in the presence of every one of you. So I want to stop glorifying the part of me that thinks it's separate and different from all of you. And the next thing I want to do according to this is to let you be. Wouldn't it be great if people just left you alone and just let you be? Most of us are. I would say more than 99% of the entire earthly population is letting you be. So much so that they don't even though you exist. If that's not being able to be, I don't know what is. So what is it that's keeping me from letting me be? Two things, what I'm telling myself and then what I'm listening to from the people that I've decided to join with and have relationships with. So when a person says they're not letting themselves be, or someone isn't letting them be, they're really not letting themselves be. And then they're projecting that on somebody outside of them, because no one else can determine how you feel. You're the only one that can determine how you feel. So if you're not letting yourself be, then there's no one else that's creating it for you right now. If you're unhappy right now, there's no one else causing that right now, because the way you feel is coming from the way you see things. The way I feel is coming from the way I see things. And the way I feel right now is grateful. The way I feel right now is thankful. The way I feel right now is blessed to be in the presence of you. And when I look at it that way, I automatically feel better. It's almost impossible for me not to feel good if I feel gratitude. So whenever I'm afraid, angry, want to go off, I try to go as quickly as I can to some thought of gratitude. So right now, if you're miserable and you feel judgmental and you feel critical, then just think of a thought of gratitude. Think of something right now that you're grateful for. And in this moment, what I'm grateful for is you and this opportunity to be here with you. So I'm going to let you be so I can begin the transformation. I'm going to also focus on the fact that I'm connected to you instead of this little separate guy that's sitting over here with this delicious looking chocolate skin. That's what I'm going to do. So, but some of you may be intent to punish yourself this evening. And if you're intent to punish yourself this evening, then no matter what you hear that could make you feel better, you won't choose to think those thoughts because you're busy punishing yourself for something. And until you finish giving yourself the punishment you think you deserve, there won't be any thoughts that anybody can give you that'll make you feel better. Because do you know that we sentence ourselves to certain periods of time of unhappiness based on what we think we've done? And if you decide that you're supposed to be depressed for 2 weeks, then there won't be anything that anybody can say for 2 weeks that's going to make you feel better, because you got to play out your sentence. Some people have been giving themselves 15 or 20 years. And so it's been 10 years since they had a good time. Right? And just so that they won't